And welcome courtside for the final game of day one here at the D3Hoops.com Classic at the South Point Arena in Las Vegas. I'm Pat Coleman. I'm joined by Brian Gregorich, longtime former Division III broadcaster. It'll be a lot of fun for us to. I know we did one of these games like back in 2010 also, but most of our broadcasting experience is like from the 1990s.
Yeah, I was going to say it definitely started with a 1 rather than a 2. But it feels great to be back in the headset, and thanks for having me out, Pat. I know you and Dave have had a long day today, and glad to come in and provide some relief, hopefully, and coming out here and seeing a couple basketball teams kind of at the opposite ends of the spectrum right now, but certainly quality programs.
Yeah.
Ohio Northern hoping to get their act together a little bit, dealt with some issues earlier in the year, and they definitely have a quality player in preseason All-American Ryan Bruns, big man in the middle there, 6'8".
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to see him play. You can see on your screen the ONU coming in at 3-7 overall, so they've lost 5 games in a row, all of them in the OAC, and the Ohio Athletic Conference is just about as tough in men's basketball as it is in football. It's a bit of a grind, so bit of a tough start, but who knows? And then the Linfield Wildcats on the opposite side, had a great game seemingly just a couple of nights ago. A week ago Monday, against Nebraska Wesleyan, which is the #1 team in the country and the defending champ. So I'm looking forward to seeing them in person here too.
And could be a bit of a contrast in styles, as Linfield has some guys who can really shoot it from downtown. Dempsey Rogenbuck, the sophomore guard, 6'4", shoots it at 48% from long distance. Also, Will Burkhart shooting at 48% from downtown, and Riley Brule shooting at just under that, 46%. So some guys who can really light it up from the outside.
We're going to first we'll take you through the starting lineups. Where do you want to start?
Okay, so Northern Ohio, we've got Austin Allemeyer, 6'2" junior guard. Daniel Donner, a senior, 6'7" forward. Daniel Unruh, freshman guard, 6'2". And Ryan Bruns, the aforementioned 6'8" senior center, preseason All-American. And Ty Staten, freshman guard, 6'2". So they got plenty of height in there, just a matter of putting everything together. For Linfield, Dempsey Rogenbuck, the 6'4" sophomore guard. Will Burkhart, transferred in from Hawaii Hilo, 5'11" sophomore guard. Riley Brule, also 5'11" senior guard. Senior, interesting one here is transfer from Eastern Washington, which always has a quality program. Grant Gibbs, 6'5" forward. And then senior guard rather, 6'5" Liam O'Reilly. So whole bunch of height there across the lines for Linfield.
Shannon Rosenberg in his 6th season as the head coach of the Wildcats. Rich Bensman in his 3rd year as the head coach at Ohio Northern. And we are about ready to get you started here. But it's been interesting as I was looking at just kind of the stats. As Linfield averaging 95.1 points a game. I'm not mistaking that, right? That's not some typo or anything.
No, and that's what happens when you have 3 guys shooting above 46% from downtown, right there.
I suppose so. Yep. The Wildcats have been, of course, a power in football. They've been a power in baseball over the course of the past multiple decades in many cases. The men's basketball program kind of languished for quite a long time, but Rosenberg has brought this crew back together and brought this program into contention, if nothing else, for a conference title. They have 2 conference tournament appearances each of the last 2 years, so potentially on the verge of a breakout, whereas Ohio Northern is trying to kind of put it back together.
And, of course, that the analytics tendency to shoot the three-pointers nowadays at all levels of basketball is no stranger to what Linfield's trying to do here. Should be a fun one tonight.
For the first half of play-by-play, we'll send it over to Brian Gregorich.
All right, thanks, Pat. In the circle for the tip, we have Liam O'Reilly, and it's knocked into backcourt, controlled by Northern Ohio, going from right to left across your screen.
Ohio Northern. I'm just going to start that right now.
Okay. Ty Staten brings it up. Over to Unruh, and down Low to Daniel Donner, dribbling around, surveying. Here goes, turning the corners. Allen Meyer had his shot blocked by O'Reilly. Rebound Linfield, here they come. Up into front court, it's Riley Brule. Little pick and pop action working. Jump shot's no good by Rogenbuck, but he's fouled.
And the nice little, I like the little quick burst there, right out of the gate, fired out by the block by O'Reilly, and then turning it into moving it fast into the front court.
First foul on Austin Allemeyer. He's the junior guard, averaging 12.4 points and 5 rebounds a game. At the line, Rogenbuck missed the first one. Interesting, he's a 48%er from 3, but only 68 from the line.
Right, those are usually numbers that don't go together, right?
Yeah.
The sharpshooters generally tend to shoot well from 15 feet as well.
He's got the second one, and Linfield now out in a full court press situation.
I could see, this is how you trigger the fast pace of the game, right? Is by doing it on the defensive end too.
Exactly. A little fumble over here by Staten, but he retains possession. Donner now over to Allemeyer. Bruns posting up, but they're going to double him away from the ball. Now he's got it on the low block, working in, backing in against O'Reilly. Switched it down low, and a nice little pass to Donner for the easy 2.
Nice little just work in the offensive set, right? You got to get some things started, especially when you're a team that's struggling. You got to get your basics.
Now into front court, it's O'Reilly dribbling in, working on Bruns. Fakes the handoff, switches it back up top to the near wing. Rotating it over to Brule. Now it's O'Reilly at the top of the key. Berghart trying to get inside, nothing doing. Drag the pivot foot, no call. O'Reilly from long range knocks down a rainbow.
And nice with you got the shot clock staring you in your face, right? It's ticking down to 4 seconds. You're standing there at the top of the key, and it just takes a little bit of extra nerves of steel to drain a shot like that.
Ohio Northern into front court now, and down low it goes to Bruns, puts it off the glass and in.
They're just not that many back to the basket centers in Division III anymore these days. It's not the way most teams play. So when you see one, sometimes it's a bit of a shock, and it's a little difficult to adjust.
Now from downtown, it's Grant Gibb, no good. Rebound Ohio Northern into front court. It's Unruh. Unruh, a little pull up from 2, it's good. Right back in a hurry, here come the Wildcats of Linfield. Slicing into lane, Rogenbuck looking for the right-hander off the glass, missed it, rebound Bruns.
Yeah, Bruns is big, he's listed at 6'8", 230, averages 8.2 rebounds a game to go with those 20.6 points. And, you could be a weapon on the defensive end as well as on offense.
Again, Bruns inside, good.
Yeah, Bruns is going to be a guy who's going to be difficult to deal with for a lot of teams at this level.
Very much so. Now Berghart working his way in, gives it over, Rogenbuck, back to Berghart. Top of the key, O'Reilly, he made one a second ago. Tries to get around Bruns, brings it in. Little shake and bake move, that's going to come up off the side of the glass. Rebound, and it's Donner for the Polar Bears.
And I think that's Bruns there affecting the shot, right? Forcing him to take something that ends up going off the side of the backboard.
And a nice hustle play by O'Reilly, working all the way back down. Bruns had a great opening, and O'Reilly stripped it out of bounds on him. Getting our first substitution of the game. Here comes Austin Hilton, and he's going to replace Liam O'Reilly. Hilton, 6'6" junior forward, and looks to have some strength in there, possibly dealing with Bruns.
Getting my first look at Bruns in person too, is a guy who you're probably not gonna have to worry about stamina. He is 230, but he's 6'8", so you wear that frame really well, and with a nice basket there, and then with the pace of the game that Linfield is going to want to play, keeping Bruns in the game is going to be super important. Yeah,
Allen Meyer, a great feed down low and a nice little tip in almost by Bruns off the pass. Here's Rogenbuck from downtown, knocks it down.
Man, these guys, we had 42% from downtown as a team. You talked about the players who were shooting 46, 48, 49% individually.
Dempsey Rogenbuck, and he was knocked down on the play by Bruns, but there was no call. Rebound, Austin Hilton on the outlet, it's Berghart. Berghart up into front court. Little push off, he's going to get the foul, however, called on the Polar Bears.
You were talking about the lack of calls. I would say one of the ways that we get 5 games and 6 games a day in is that these officials generally let these guys play, which is nice, because otherwise, if we had a lot of whistle fest, we'd still be here at midnight.
Coming up short on the long-range shot, Riley Brule, and now the Polar Bears back into front court. Directing traffic is Unruh. Now into the near corner. Staten. Back over, Allenmeyer. Allenmeyer turns the corner, gets into the lane, looks for help. Bruns with an open three from the near side, and he knocks it down.
Yeah, you know what? 20 feet, 21 feet, 22 feet, that'll work too.
Good ball player right there. You can tell right off the bat.
Doing what his team needs him to do right now.
Oh, up top it was Grant Gibb with a little shuffle step, and he drew a foul on the way in. And that's going to be on Donner.
It is difficult to pick up those officials' calls from here on the opposite end, just so you know. Because they do not turn around and face us.
Hilton with the handoff. A three in the air is good for Grant Gibb.
This is going to be is this what it's going to be like? This is going to be an offense fest tonight?
I believe so. 13-10 in favor of Ohio Northern. Now turning the corner and heading into the lane is Staten, and he's going to draw the foul and head to the line for two.
Yeah, I was trying to work his way in there against Austin Hilton, and Hilton is a pretty big guy himself. He's 6'6", 250. Maybe not the best use of his body right there, and that's why he got called for the foul.
Yeah, I think Hilton's in there to deal with Bruns, not deal with the help defense on a driver.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Free throw rolls out for Staten. Staten's a 64%er from the stripe. Couple changes for Linfield. Coming in, Tanner Atencio, a 6'4" junior forward, and also Max Lohman, 6'3" sophomore guard. Here's Atencio bringing it up in front court. Fake the backdoor pass.
I thought he was going to try to make that backdoor pass, which would have been a really bad idea.
Then he tried to hit the cutting Grant Gibb, but it was knocked away. So Wildcats ball. We've got 15-10 to go in the first here. 14-10 the score. Ohio Northern in command. Atencio up top. Gives it over to Hilton. Hilton looking for help. Back to Atencio. Gets around his screen. Little turnaround from the elbow is good. Tanner Atencio knocks it in.
Atencio from McMinnville, one of two guys on the roster from right there in Linfield's hometown.
Bruns is going to take it to the hoop and came up a little short. Atencio with some nice help D on the play.
Yeah, but pretty good quickness from Bruns. I was impressed by that.
Atencio handoff to Gibb. Gibb working down the left side. Looking for help. It's Hilton at the foul line. Faked Bruns into the air. Drove in and drew a foul on the big man.
I mean, generally, right, that's the general theory is you want to attack the guy who on defense who's the best guy on offense, right? So you can try to get him on the bench a little bit.
And I don't know that Bruns needed to go for that fake out there near the foul line.
No, you're probably right.
Hilton knocks the first one in. Actually, not a bad free throw shooter. 67% on the year now. Bruns going to take a seat. A little foul trouble going on. Ohio Northern with 4, nobody with more than 1 at the time. Only 1 on Linfield. 14 minutes to go in the first half. Allenmeyer working in. Up top, it's Staten. Now on the near side, Unruh. Drops it down just into the game. Caleb Bryan takes it in. No good. Rebound, put back shot by Donner, and rebounded by Linfield.
I was just impressed that Donner was able to make anything out of that. He grabbed the loose ball basically well behind the basket and somehow found his way back in front of the basket, and then that is Caleb Bryan just doing a flying. I don't watch enough wrestling to know what that move was.
I don't know, but he sold out on shooting the three, and Grant Gibb certainly got the brunt of that collision. But he did not get a shot off, and the officials emphatically were right there saying no shot on that play.
Yeah, you got to know. You got to throw the ball up no matter what. That's your opportunity.
Hilton high post, goes over the top, but it's broken up by the Polar Bears. Here comes Allenmeyer into front court.
I was impressed by Gibbs' quickness, though. Man, he came off that screen like you wouldn't believe.
Out up top, it's Bryan, now in a little bit of trouble. 15 to shoot. Rotated around, it's Allenmeyer on the near side, goes in. And nice help defense that time by Austin Hilton. Got his feet set. Linfield looking to take the lead here, trailing by 1. Up top, it's Grant Gibb. Now it's Atencio. On the near wing, Riley Brule. Down low, Hilton. Hilton looking for a turnaround. Faces up, and it's going to be an offensive foul, and that's going to be Hilton's second one of the game.
Donner, some really good defense there. Did not give Hilton any room to pass him.
I'm impressed with the Polar Bears defense right now. They move their feet very well.
Yeah. Good fundamentals. Hashtag YD3.
All right, Donner into front court. Rotating around. It's Unruh. Breaks down his man, goes to the corner, nothing doing. Back up top, Bryan, now Allemeyer. Now Staten. Staten turns his man around twice, and he's going to pick up a little hand check foul on Tanner Atencio. That's his first of the game.
Atencio's a guy who's gotten quite a bit of playing time off the bench. He's also started a game for the Wildcats, averaging a handful of points, averaging a few rebounds, fairly decent shooter, and certainly a guy who they can count on clearly to do a fair amount of ball handling for a guy who's listed as a forward.
Back into the game, Will Berghardt replacing Riley Brule. And for Ohio Northern, we have Grant McConnell coming into the ball game. 6'3" senior. Staten looking down low. Bruns is also back into the game, and we got a foul somewhere away from the ball.
Yeah, looked like a push of some sort in the lane.
And also in for Linfield for the first time, Marcus Lord, 6'5" senior forward. And it looks like he's going to draw the assignment on Bruns here, potentially. And tipped away on the pass, and a nice easy layup for Max Lohman as he converts.
Yeah, great job by Lohman just to read and see where the pass was coming. And, once he picked it off in front of the guy who was the farthest away from the basket, it was an easy path for him to finish with the layup.
Bruns working inside, gets it to go, and he'll head to the stripe.
Shannon Rosenberg, you can see him over there in the purple, right? He's the Linfield head coach, looking for a call of some sort. He's holding his hands up. Five team fouls for Linfield here in the early going.
So the fouls have effectively evened out here real quick. I didn't catch who picked up either of the last two, but we'll figure it out.
Whoever it was just picked up foul number 2. Dave is really good at that, and it's not really something I'm focused on at the moment. Try to keep the scoreboard updated.
Bruns 73% are at the line, however, he missed it. 16-15, Linfield trailing by 1. Heading into the lane and getting his shot blocked was Will Berghardt, rebounded by Bruns. Outlet pass, Bryan puts it in. Caleb Bryan, 6'4", junior out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the block and the rebound by Bruns, and then the outlet pass, and then the finish.
12:09 to go in the first half. 18-15, Ohio Northern in the lead. Will Berghardt brings it up. Off a screen, here comes Austin Bain. And he drops it in from 3.
All tied up at 18. And I had just been thinking, too, so Ohio Northern brought 2 guys into the front court to kind of pressure Linfield on the inbounds pass, that maybe they were doing something good, and then it didn't work out for them.
It definitely did not. Now in front court after the steal, here comes Linfield. And a little floater from the right-hand side. Dempsey Rogenbuck puts it in on the baseline.
I like the floater. I didn't like him kind of leading with his elbow a little bit and pushing his way in there. But that was a relatively minor part of that play. But it was definitely noticeable, at least from where we're sitting.
A couple times led with the forearm a little bit. So
yeah.
We'll take a look at how the officials are going to deal with that. Ohio Northern into front court. It's Bruns, gets doubled, fumbles it, but it goes right over to Grant McConnell. He missed it, but rebounded by Linfield, or not Linfield, Ohio Northern. And now for a 3, it's McConnell connecting.
Bruns just kind of used all of his length to corral that rebound, which is basically a loose ball up at about 10 feet off the ground, and Ohio Northern turned that into a 3.
Oh, Rogenbuck into the lane and had Austin Allemeyer all over him, but he still managed to convert.
Dave and I were talking about this early.
As Caleb Bryan tries a little reverse, and he missed it, and he comes up just a tad bit gimpy after that.
It's nice to have a good back and forth game to end the night, to keep everybody awake.
Dempsey Rogenbuck not connecting from downtown there. Missed a little bit of everything.
Earlier today, we had a really offensive battle between North Central and Husson. North Central won that 93-52. Matt Capoletti scored 35 points for the Cardinals. He broke the tournament record for threes in a game with 9. We've had some excitement, even if we haven't necessarily had close games. This one right now, of course, is a 1-point game as we come up on the midway point of the first half.
Knocked out of bounds as once again the Polar Bears try to go into Bruns. They'll retain possession. Staten lobs up over the top to Bruns. Now it's over to Bryan, and on the near side, Allemeyer. Allemeyer surveying, looking for Bruns down low, perhaps. Instead, skips it over to Staten. Staten goes to the rack, and we've got a foul away.
So if you're hearing an unfamiliar voice, if you've been listening to the previous 4 games, it's Brian Gregorich joining us here for game number 5. Brian and I went to Catholic University of America together. We called basketball games together there, and I'm just texting Ray Martell right now to see if he's still awake and let him know to tune in.
Exactly.
The other missing member of our broadcast crew who cannot jinx us tonight.
Ohio Northern can't connect on 2 shots. Now it's Linfield. An open 3. No, Gibbs passes it up. Gives it over to Burkhart. Burkhart thinks about it, now fires it. Misses. Rebound Polar Bears. Caleb Bryan hands it off. And this is Ty Staten bringing it into front court. Going over to the far side on the wing. Brings it up top. Caleb Bryan shuffled his feet. That's going to get called, and it'll be a turnover heading to the Wildcats.
I'm missing having the stats in front of me. Now I'm on the production computer. I no longer have all of that information. Otherwise, I was looking, hey, how many turnovers is that? I don't know. I can't tell you.
Burkhart brings it into front court for Linfield. 22-21 in favor of the Linfield Wildcats over the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Backdoor cut, Burkhart puts it in. Off a nice feed from Liam O'Reilly. Here comes Ohio Northern. Austin Allemeyer hounded by Will Burkhart. Turns the corner, gets all the way around, looking for help. It's Bruns for a wide open 3. Oh, in and out, tough luck shot, rebounded on the far side, Grant McConnell. Now to Staten, back to McConnell.
Yeah, nothing hurt by that long 3. Obviously a miss, but you get a fresh 30.
Staten, no good, back iron, rebound. Liam O'Reilly controls it, gets into front court, dribbling, and couldn't quite get a good solid possession on that. Tried to go over for a cutting Dempsey Rogenbuck, and they're going to give it over to Ohio Northern.
I have to ask, as a native now, Las Vegan, do you attend any other events here in this arena?
Not so much. There's been a little bit of high school basketball here, but it's got a lot of rodeo and those types of things, which is
motocross or whatever. Not your thing?
Not exactly our thing.
Basketball's good, though.
Yes.
It works.
Near side 3, Grant McConnell. That's his second from downtown in just a few minutes of action.
The guy who came into the night with just 1 3-pointer on the season. Had only played in 1 game. This is a guy who's a senior, though, so wouldn't be surprised. 16 fouls each way now.
24-24, all tied up here. 8 minutes to go, first half.
Don't forget, at the half, we'll have our extensive halftime coverage of nothing. We'll run some promos, and then we'll come back out and do halftime stats. Maybe we'll make Dave come over and do a 15-minute monologue. See what Dave can do after having slept basically not at all last night.
Battle for the ball. It's going to go over to Ohio Northern. We've got some new ball players into the game here. Number 3 for Linfield, Nagasi Hart. And for Ohio Northern, we've got number 2, Kevin Austin, into the ball game for the first time. Bringing the ball up court, Daniel Unruh. Guarded closely by Riley Brule. Kevin Austin getting into the lane, dishing out. McConnell dishes it over, and Donner brings it up. Contact, but no call. Bruns missed the putback. Donner missed the putback again.
Bruns, man, it's hard to it's hard to be in much better position to score than he was right there.
Now Liam O'Reilly fakes, gives it over to Grant Gibb. 3 in the air, no good. Looked like it wanted to go out of bounds, but it stayed in. Ohio Northern grabs the ball, brings it into front court.
And we've often talked about that right-hand side of the gym being the tougher end to shoot in. It's like got about a 90-foot backdrop if you're shooting straight on between there and the horse stables, basically. Sometimes teams struggle in the right-hand side, and then things change around in the second half.
A little up and under move. Burkhart, and we're going to get a held ball. That's going to stay with Linfield. 24 all here, 6:48 to go. Linfield versus Ohio Northern. Thanks for tuning in tonight on D3Hoops.com.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It is game 5 of 18, or game 5 of 5 today. Much more manageable chunk that way. And I'm not sure I've ever called 5 games of anything in a day before.
And down low, it's Daniel Donner converting, and he'll head to the line to try to make it a 3-point play. Foul on the play by Grant Gibb.
We often have 6 games in a row in a day here, but usually I get to take 1 or 2 of them off. Not today. I was the first one here. I called the first game with a Bluetooth headset and the cell phone, and that was a lot of fun. It was like the 2019 version of 1995. You've got a wired phone at courtside and no equipment.
Liam O'Reilly from 3, in and out. Rebound, Hart. Woof.
Hart fouled, and that really fouled underneath even before Daniel Donner came in and kind of smacked the ball. So Kevin Austin with the foul, number 1. 7th team foul, and we're bonus the rest of the way.
Hart knocks the first one down, which moves him from 50% to 67% on the year. So guess the fraction.
I was going to say, if you don't know, then...
And he just moved up to 75%. Good-looking free throw stroke, though.
That's true.
Once again, Linfield with pressure. Into front court, it's Unruh for Ohio Northern.
I still use the math major line, by the way, 25 years later.
Appropriate. Kevin Austin. Now it's Unruh. He was bumped on the play, and that's going to be a foul on Hart. And Daniel Unruh, freshman guard. 80% free throw shooter.
It's a good game for those of you staying up late at night with us. I don't know how many of you are staying up here late at night with us. Where do I find that? Somewhere here, that information is available.
Unruh missed the free throw. Now Atencio into the lane. Over to Gibb. Down low, it's O'Reilly. O'Reilly working against Bruns. A little left-handed floater, and that's going to fall.
About 5 hops, that ought to do it, right?
Liam O'Reilly, senior 6'5", listed as a guard, but seems to play wherever is needed, inside or outside.
152 people watching right now. That's really great for 11:23 Eastern time. It's the only game in town. There were 7 games in Division III basketball today, and I got to call 5 of them. They all happened right here.
That's a good percentage.
Yeah.
Grant McConnell.
71.4%.
Dishes it over. Kevin Austin, jump shot. No good. Back iron. Rebound. Linfield. 28-27. Got the lead in the leather here. 5 minutes to go.
I've used lead in the leather a couple times today too. That's still part of the lexicon for me.
Linfield comes up short.
Things I borrowed from you.
Totally okay. I'm sure I borrowed it from probably Kevin Calabro.
There you go.
Down low, it's Ryan Bruns, and he gets popped in the face. So he'll need just a moment here.
And we had a game earlier today in which Carthage player unintentionally just clocked Ohio Northern women's basketball player in the face, and she was kind of not quite down for the count per se, but Sydney Ward did not come back in the rest of the game. The rest of the game. They ended up winning, however.
Ryan Bruns, a 73% free throw shooter.
Like a big guy who can shoot from the line, too.
And he nailed the first one, making it 28 all with 4:44 to go here. First half action. Second free throw is going to rattle in. 29-28, here comes Linfield. Tanner Atencio into front court. Guarded closely by Daniel Unruh. Spins himself partially open, gives it over to Austin Hilton, who's just back into the game, and he's going to go ahead and take the open set shot and missed.
He kind of had the unintentional pass land in his hands. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll put it up. Why not?
Now Bruns gets his man off the ground, doesn't do anything, rotates it back out. Inside it goes Donner, but we have reaching in on the play, Dempsey Rogenbuck, and he'll pick up the foul. Rogenbuck, he's been clamped down a little bit here. That's his second, and he's averaging 20.6 points a game, and has not really lit up the scoreboard like that yet today.
Right, like the first couple minutes, yes, and then more recently, you're right, super quiet. Has not, the scoring pace is kind of ratcheted back a little bit too. Obviously, Linfield would like to play this at a higher pace.
This is definitely a pace that favors Ohio Northern, that's for certain. Donner knocks him down from the line, making it 31-28. Atencio up to Gibb. Back to Atencio, got a little screen going, works it on the high post to Hilton. Hilton now has an opening with Liam O'Reilly, working into the lane. Back up top, this is Riley Brule.
Yeah, they do not want to still have the ball with 13 on the shot clock.
Pretty good defense by the Polar Bears. And we have O'Reilly taking it in against Bruns. And we've got a foul called up top here. And that is a big deal because that's number 2 on Bruns.
Yeah, and I don't think Bruns was super enamored with that call. I really felt like so much of the contact was above and it was hand on ball. And I did not see whatever contact might have taken place elsewhere that would have inspired them to make that call.
Yeah, that was definitely a call that I don't know if it was assumed that something was going to happen or just it looked like a foul kind of.
Yeah.
But certainly not a lot of egregious contact, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bruns is going to go to the bench for the rest of the half here with 3:54 to go.
A foul of assumption. We'll assume that that's a thing. We're going to call that a thing.
31-29 as O'Reilly went 1 of 2 from the line. Now it's a steal. Will Burkhart bringing it into front court, dishing it over.
Oh, he wanted that
thought
three.
about it. Riley Brule thought about it, gave it back up. Burkhart down low. Hilton faces up on Donner, and that's going to be another offensive foul on Austin Hilton. That's his third.
Yeah, that's the danger, of course, putting a guy back in, right? There's a lot of coaches, obviously, a school of thought, in that your guy gets 2 fouls in the first half in a college game, and that's it. You just sit him, no matter what. No context or anything. No decision. You don't even really make the decision. It's just automatic. Here, that it's demonstrated the reason why a lot of coaches do that.
So something to watch there, especially since Hilton came in to apply some defense to Bruns earlier in the half.
And now Bruns is on the bench too, so they might be able to skate by here with that.
So interesting right there. Unruh had the ball knocked out of his hand, went over to the ref and showed him ostensibly the hand mark from getting swatted on the arm. But
the shoe shine?
But didn't get a technical, so we play on.
I guess that's good.
Akin to drawing a line in baseball. Usually that gets you thrown out. Foul line jumper, Caleb Bryan, no good. Rebounded Burghardt up top. Atencio 1-on-2, and he's going to lay it off the glass and in.
I'm still thinking about is it Lou Boudreau who got hit by a pitch and it rubbed the shoe polish off of it, and that's how they showed that ball to the umpire, and that's how they got that call changed or something?
The old shoe polish trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Jump shot, Allemeyer, no good. Rebound, Gibb. Here comes Linfield. Into front court. Gibb has it on the far wing. Handing it off to Burghardt. Will Burghardt up top working on Austin Allemeyer. Near corner, Liam O'Reilly goes baseline, spins into the lane. A little twisting, whirling dervish type shot, no good. Rebounded Donner.
And he's looking for a call. It's like the official is not going to bail you out of your own bad decision. That never happens. I mean, it might occasionally happen, but it shouldn't. It's not supposed to happen that way.
Unruh for 3. Back iron, no good. Rebound, Linfield. Here comes Burghardt into front court. Pushing the ball, got it stolen away from behind by Donner. Recovery by Allemeyer. 1:50 to go in the first half. We've got ourselves a 31-31 ball game. Linfield versus Ohio Northern. Ohio Northern with the ball. Working off a screen. Here on the near side. Now down low, it's Brian. Skip pass. Unruh. Wide open three. It's going to be short. Rebound. Liam O'Reilly picked it up, had the ball mysteriously squirted out of his hands. Riley Brule rotates it over. Grant Gibb back to Brule, back to Gibb. Working it around the perimeter. Atencio going to go into the lane, and Unruh thought he had ball.
I got questions on the questions coming in via Messenger asking about who the person is sitting in between us.
So joining us on the table today, we have my son Ryland, who is making his first appearance at the broadcast table today. So thanks, Pat, for letting him tag along with me tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. What you want to do is raise your hand here. Raise your two hands right now. Go ahead, Ryland. Go ahead. So you can see him. That was him. It just pokes his hands right above the score line, the graphic, so you can see that's Ryland sitting next to us. It's actually been a while since I've taken any of my kids on a broadcast. Now they're like, they don't want to play along. I don't know.
I think if there's a sporting event and I'm going, I think that Ryland wants to go with me. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, that I hear agreement. Even if it's ping pong, okay.
Linfield now.
D3pingpong.com coming up.
We've got Liam O'Reilly. Misses in the lane, rebounded by Donner.
We've been stuck on 31s for a while here.
We have 47 seconds in the first half, and bringing it down. Staten missed it. A rebound, loose ball, controlled by the Polar Bears.
And Ohio Northern's going to get away with leaving Bruns on the bench here for the final 4 minutes of the half.
It certainly would appear so. It definitely hasn't made any substantial difference in the score. Right now, Grant McConnell tries to get out of trouble. 10 seconds to shoot. Flipping it over, Caleb Bryan puts it in from about 8 feet out.
Yeah, it's a really nice offensive possession too. Run the clock down. You don't have your big guy who you might run the offense through on the floor. You still find a way to put some points on the board.
Now 4 seconds left in the half. Berghardt step back three. No good. And that's going to take us to halftime with our score. Ohio Northern 33 and Linfield 31 in what's been a very competitive and entertaining first half.
Yeah, it has been. It's been nice and back and forth. It's been a lot of fun to follow. And I think a lot of it is going to be as we go to halftime and come back in the second half is how does Linfield attempt to again either control Bruns or work around him in the second half. Can Linfield on the offensive end of the floor get some of those shots to fall? Some of their shots fell early. Later on here in the half, things did not necessarily go so well for them. So it is it's been interesting, and we'll see how it develops.
Yeah, those definitely. You saw Linfield trying to push it.
Yeah.
But Ohio Northern playing really good defense.
They are. We'll come back in about 10 minutes or so. We'll do halftime stats and get you ready for the second half of action. But we're here at the D3Hoops.com Classic at the South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, with Ohio Northern leading Linfield by the score of 33-31.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
This is why we love sports. It's in the way they play, free from the pressures and all the money talk. Playing for simply the love of the game, where everyone has a shot at their definition of success on and off the field. This is what we love about sports, and what we can still love about college sports.
My name is Marcus Walker. I was All-State, won a state championship, a high school All-American, and played college and pro ball. I played because I love the game. I grind to be the best. I sweat because I put in work. I'm strong because I believe. When I want to bring it before game time, I come to the house that college basketball built, the CBE. No matter your skill, take it to another level. Elevate your game right here at the College Basketball Experience at Sprint Center.
Big shots. Teamwork. This trophy is not given. It must be earned. The 2019 NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Championship, March 15th and 16th at the Krager Center in Salem.
Bounces right back with a triple. Great job here. And that'll do it!
Visit ncaa.com/tickets and get your tickets today.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance. A monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
It's on us to stop sexual assault
in any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us, all of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I coined my definition of success in 1934. My definition of success is peace of mind attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing you made the effort to do the best of which you're capable. It's like reputation and character. Reputation is what others perceive you to be. Character is what you are.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
I used to never really talk. Ever. I was afraid if I said something wrong, everyone would laugh at me. But then I started to play golf with Special Olympics. It helped me to find my voice. And now everyone else is speechless.
Big shots. Big dunks. This trophy is not given. It must be earned. The 2019 NCAA Division III Men's Basketball Championship, March 15th and 16th at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum Arena in Fort Wayne.
With his third triple.
Visit ncaa.com/tickets and secure your seats today.
Great moments are born from great opportunity. That's what you have here tonight. That's what you've earned here tonight. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
All right, back out here at the half at South Point Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, 33-31. Ohio Northern leading Linfield. Pat Coleman joined by Brian Gregorich and Rylan Gregorich, who's stepping in for just a moment with a little bit of halftime analysis as well. What did you see today?
Well, what I saw is that this is going to be a really competitive game, and not just for one team, for both teams.
I would agree. I think competitive actually is a great way to describe how this game has gone so far. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. Amazingly, in that first half, there were 5 ties and 11 lead changes. So, Ryland, who do you think's got the upper hand heading into the second half? Do you think it's Ohio Northern, or do you think it's Linfield who's been looking the best so far?
I think Ohio Northern will win because they have the lead 31 to 33.
I mean, that's a good point. It's helpful to have the lead. You can't win if you don't have the lead in basketball. It's a good starting point. I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for your analysis, Ryland.
You're
So I hope you've enjoyed being down here in press row with us.
Yes, I
Press row consisting of us.
Us. Yeah, basically that's what it is. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
We'll run through the halftime stats. First for the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern, who is Ryland noted to lead 33-31. Ryan Bruns with 13 points in 15 minutes of action, 5 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 2 from downtown, 2 or 3 from the charity stripe. Also tied for the game high with 7 rebounds. Daniel Donner with 7 points on 2 of 5 shooting, 3 for 3 from the line, along with 7 rebounds as well. Then it's Grant McConnell off the bench with 6, Caleb Bryan with 4, Daniel Unruh with a pair, Ty Staten with 1, and Colton Bachman, Kevin Austin, and Austin Allemeyer did not score for the total of 33. 12 of 31 shooting, 38.7%, 3 of 8 from three-point range, 37.5%, and 6 of 9 from the line. You can do the math. 22-17, Ohio Northern with the rebounding edge, 6 turnovers apiece. And on the Linfield side of the ledger, Brian, you and I were talking about this beforehand. There's a lot of guys not on their pace right now.
No, we've got Dempsey Rogenbuck averaging 20 a game. He only chipped in 6 in that first half, and most of them came fairly early. He was 2 for 4 from the floor, including 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Not his typical half right there. So certainly the Wildcats are going to see if they can get him going in the second half. Also in the backcourt, Will Burghardt handled the ball a lot. 2 points, averaging 15 on the year. 3 points for Grant Gibb, also averaging 15. Liam O'Reilly had 6. Tanner Atencio had 6. Nagasi Hart had 2 from the line. Max Lohman had 2 on a tip away and breakaway layup. 3 points for Aaron Bone and 1 point for Austin Hilton. So 31 for Linfield, shooting 40% from the field, including 36% from downtown, only 55% from the stripe.
Yeah, and I think we talk about the guys who are off their pace and maybe struggling, and Rogenbuck, of course, only playing 9 minutes in the first half as well. Maybe a little bit of early foul trouble. And also, I think it's because Tanner Atencio did a really nice job coming in the backcourt.
Yeah, did some good things offensively and defensively, and it just seemed like Rogenbuck was just off in the first half. So going to have to take a look at that and see if the Wildcats can get him going here in the second.
And for the second half of play-by-play, let's send you right back to Brian Gregorich.
Thank you very much, Pat. So here we go, 33-31. Ohio Northern in the lead over Linfield. And the Polar Bears bring it out here right in front of us. Daniel Unruh, freshman guard, over to Austin Allemeyer. And now Ty Staten, down low it goes. This is Donner, who had 7 in the first half. Flips it up off the rim, no good. Rebound, here comes Linfield. And it's Rogenbuck into front court, and he lost the handle out of bounds. Still not quite working out for him so far today.
I go back to the decision we talked about briefly at the end of the first half of sitting Bruns on the bench after he picked up foul number 2 with about 4.5 to go. He was also, I think, might have been a little winded too. It was really a good opportunity to get him out of the game and get him a breather. And I don't know. Maybe Rich Bensman would have brought him back in if the situation warranted it. But Ohio Northern, if nothing else, they held serve while he was gone.
Going into the lane, Allemeyer blocked shot. It's Liam O'Reilly, and now we've got a hustling ball player over here, and that's Will Burghardt sliding in to our table, and fortunately for him, he seems okay.
Fortunately for him, he's okay. Fortunately for us, the ball wasn't about 3 feet higher.
We would have had some real action down here.
I'm bracing myself as much as possible for what was potentially to come, and the shot clock expires.
Unruh trying to get the shot up at the last moment, and swatted away by Riley Brule. So we're still standing at 33-31 into front court. Burghardt pushes it. Now to Brule.
My all-time favorite example of a ball into the scorer's table with a 3 ball there by Grant Gibb is we were calling an NCAA tournament game. I was not on this broadcast, but another member of our crew was. At William Patterson, and the ball went right into the broadcast computer, right going into a media timeout. And this is like 2009 or so. The connections are not as quick to recover, but he was back on the air before the media timeout ended.
Some good engineering right there.
That's right. And I think a very fortunate some connection didn't drop or whatever.
So the three-pointer by Gibb makes it 34-33 in favor of Linfield, and a turnover by the Polar Bears results in Linfield possession again. Rogenbuck working away, trying to get away from Allemeyer, and he's bumped. That's going to be the third foul on Austin Allemeyer, who plays major minutes for the Polar Bears. Allemeyer, so far, no points tonight, averaging 12. So he's just done some dirty work defensively, and that's about it.
I mean, there's a lot of room for dirty work done dirt cheap, I guess. I did not intend to go there when that sentence started, and then
sometimes that just happens.
I found it just coming out of my mouth. Okay.
Second foul by Ty Staten. Liam O'Reilly takes it in with a two-hand flush. Wow.
Did not expect that when that possession started, did you?
Just kind of looked around and was like, what the heck? I'm going to go slam it down.
This is a thing I can do and I shall do.
Polar Bears, three in the air. Unruh, he's got it.
Ties it right back up.
I thought maybe Linfield was getting a little momentum right there, but Unruh quick to bring it back. Here's Rogenbuck into the lane.
There hasn't been a lot of room for anybody to have momentum today.
Unruh bringing it down. Woo! Another block shot. We had a block at one end by Bruns and a block at this end by O'Reilly.
And it's his second block shot of the evening. It's officially evening now everywhere, right?
Even Hawaii.
There you go. For all of our viewers in Hawaii, thanks for joining us. We had a lot of viewers from Russia early in the game. Early in the day. Yeah. So I spoke like my 4 semesters of Russian from 25 years ago.
It's 4 more than I took. Working inside, it's Brule.
You could have taken Russian, man. There were people in my Russian class at CUA who you and I would both say should not have been taking a foreign language.
Liam O'Reilly had it blocked out of bounds by Bruns once again. Ryan Bruns making his presence known on the defensive end. According to me, that's 4 blocks on the game. Had 2 in the first half officially. And we're going to get a timeout on the floor.
It's a 30, so we'll keep it here. Usually it's the time when we would run through other scores on the night, but like I said, we are 5 of the 7 games going on. So we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up tomorrow here at the D3Hoops.com Classic. We'll have a 6-game day because 5 games is not enough. We'll start at 10 a.m. local time as Buena Vista takes on 18th-ranked Gettysburg. We'll follow that with number 7 Amherst against Westfield State. Amherst, 2-time defending national champ, and a defensive juggernaut against Westfield, who just likes to run and shoot. Ohio Northern women's basketball team will finish its trip here to Las Vegas with a game against Willamette at 2 o'clock. And then in men's basketball at 4 o'clock, it'll be Husson against Ramapo, followed by UW Platteville and Johns Hopkins, and then Ohio Northern and North Central will finish out the night tomorrow night on day 2 at the tournament.
Inbounds, here's Rogenbuck, puts it on the floor, dishes out to a wide open O'Reilly. And it's going to go up on the stanchion out of bounds.
It's like, I'm waiting for the whistle. Waiting for the whistle. There we go.
36 all, 17 minutes to go, second half action. Austin Allemeyer working against that pressure that Linfield offers every time they get a chance. Staten, a skip pass over to Unruh. Now to Donner. Rotating around, it's Allemeyer now up top. Ty Staten brings it up. Shot clock dwindling. Daniel Donner lines up a 3, back iron, no good. Rebound, Bruns takes it away from Burkhart.
I like to see that, be strong with the basketball.
Bruns corner 3, no good. Rebound, O'Reilly had it, dropped it off, and here he comes, he gets it back into the lane. Little scoop past Burkhart. Had an opening, didn't take the shot.
He was surprised to get the ball. It was headed for the guy in the corner.
Oh, here comes Bruns into front court, picks it up, and lays it in nicely. Good hands by the big man.
Well, Bruns just kind of looking good at both ends of the floor right now.
Riley Brule rotates it up top. Liam O'Reilly, Dempsey Rogenbuck. Grant Gibb now, burrowing in, backdoor cut, Rogenbuck. Laid it off the rim, no good. And more importantly, that's going to be I've got the 4th foul right now on Austin Allemeyer, who is one of the team leaders for Ohio Northern. 6'2" junior guard, plays heavy minutes.
I would say you are not the only person who has 4 fouls on Allemeyer. I'm just saying that's official.
Okay.
You made it sound like, I'm just going to confirm for the record.
Yes, I appreciate that. So he's going to get a little extended time on the bench, one would think.
That seems appropriate.
He missed the first one and hit the second. And into the game, Tanner Atencio replacing Rogenbuck.
Did not really get that change of results from Rogenbuck we were looking for.
No, he hasn't come out and put it together the second half, so Linfield hoping he can do that. Kevin Austin back into the game for Ohio Northern. Gives it over, Unruh back to Austin.
Saw some limited action from him in the first half. He's a senior, he's played now in his 7th game of the season.
Working into the lane, dishes it over, wide open, 3 in the air. Grant McConnell missed it at the shot clock buzzer, rebounded by Linfield. Atencio working his way into the front court, gives it over. Riley Brule from long distance missed it. Rebound, O'Reilly scooped it over, and Lohman bumped out of bounds, wanted the call, missed the shot.
I think, in all honesty, I think O'Reilly should have just tried to take it himself rather than dish it off right there.
Austin working onto the baseline to Donner. Up top, McConnell passes it up. And it finds its way back to McConnell. Now Austin, 8 to shoot. Up top, McConnell working into the lane. Got a bump from O'Reilly, and they're going to call no shot but a foul on Liam O'Reilly. Second personal. And this game the pace has very much slowed down. Linfield's going back into a zone right now, and Ohio Northern very content to shorten this game up.
Yeah, it works to their advantage, I think. Linfield is usually the team that, as we've said before, is trying to push the ball up and down the floor and make everybody play at their pace.
Bruns 2 dribbles into the lane, right hand hook shot over Austin Hilton is good. 40-37 in favor of Ohio Northern.
Oof, risky pass there.
Hilton
somehow stayed in Linfield's hands.
Brule. Lohman brings it in against Bruns, had it tipped away and stolen away by Bruns.
And he's like the 3rd person on that possession alone to try to attack Bruns.
It seems counterproductive.
If you can't get it close enough to him to try to draw the foul, right? That's still the MO like we were talking about earlier.
Kevin Austin throwing a pass over the top to Bruns, and he's fouled as he was coming down with the catch.
Bruns breathing a little bit heavier here in the second half, right? You can see where maybe if you have an opportunity to get him out of the game sometime soon, get him a couple minutes on the bench, maybe sandwich that around a timeout so you can steal some time with him off the floor. And there's a steal.
Austin Hilton up to Lohman. Lohman brings it in, left-hand layup, good.
Nice little left-hand layup, and Shannon Rosenberg's going to take this time to take a timeout. It's a full timeout, or we'll take a break with 13:43 to go here in the second half. It's 40-39, Ohio Northern over Linfield at the D3Hoops.com Classic in Las Vegas.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
In any way that we can.
To get a friend home safe.
To never blame the victim.
It's on us.
To stand up.
To make our community safe for all.
It's on us.
It's on us to look out for each other at parties.
It's on us.
To be more than just a bystander.
To step up and say something.
It's on us. All of us.
To stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 40-39. Ohio Northern in the lead over Linfield with 13:38 to go here in our second half of our final game of the day here at the D3Hoops.com Classic.
And Linfield's timeout got Bruns a bit of a breather, of course, too.
And there he is. That's Donner with an offensive rebound, gives it over to Bruns. Ohio Northern working it around. Daniel Unruh. Near side McConnell. Now Austin, nice little bounce pass. Bruns takes it to the rack. No good. Rebound Donner. Donner with another opportunity. Missed it again. Austin Hilton on the rebound, falling out of bounds. And he manages to run into the one cameraman down there. Poor guy, because Austin Hilton's he's a big boy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is indeed. I was just thinking about Bruns. I thought he was going to throw that one down. I think he might have maybe not had as secure a grasp on the ball as he would have liked.
And a very late foul call here, which is an important one because Max Lohman took it in against Bruns, and it looked like a pretty clear foul, but didn't get called till a little bit later in the action. But nonetheless, justice was served, in my opinion, and that's the third personal on Bruns.
It's key here with 12:46 to go in the second half.
And Lohman knocks it down. He's about a 67%er.
And Bruns is going to come out, and he's going to get replaced by Caleb Bryan. They'll go a little bit smaller right now.
40-40, 12:46 to go here.
I guess it's hard not to go smaller when Bruns comes out, though.
Caleb Bryan had 4 points in the first half, so made a couple of shots. Kevin Austin still running the point for Ohio Northern.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different look now. You got a couple of guys in the backcourt, right? Austin and McConnell, who are both guys off the bench, and then Bryan as well.
They're looking for Donner down low. Couldn't find him. Now they've got him on the far baseline area. Caleb Bryan into the lane. Austin, baseline jumper, short. Rebound, battled for. It's going to go to Linfield. Linfield with the lead 41-40 right now, 12.5 minutes to go.
At the risk of inspiring get off my lawn responses, I just don't like how these things that used to be travels are not travels now. You know? I know you're like an NBA fan, and that's maybe commonplace, or I don't know, maybe you aren't an NBA fan anymore.
NBA is dead to me.
My bad, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Ever since they decided to move the team that I rooted for to Oklahoma City.
That's fair, my bad.
That's okay. Old wound, it's scabbed over, it's good. Liam O'Reilly took it up to the rack, tried to get another dunk in there, but got fouled. He's going to head to the line for a couple.
You know, you look at Liam O'Reilly, it doesn't scream dunk, right? But he's 6'5".
And he can get off the ground pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, right? I mean, at 6'5", you don't have to get off the ground super well, I guess, to dunk. I speak, theoretically, since I'm 6 foot. And have never dunked on a 10-foot basket in my life. And now I'm not going to, I'm fairly certain.
You don't think you're going to improve? Get that late vertical?
Yeah, I'm not sure my knees have the elasticity that...
Hashtag late bloomer.
Super late bloomer. I have a lot of eligibility left.
And Linfield providing some pressure. Ohio Northern threw it away. And right now the Polar Bears might be feeling the loss of Austin Allemeyer, who does a lot of the ball handling for him. As he's sitting on the bench with 4 fouls. Colton Bachman back into the game, sophomore, 6'4", listed as a guard, looks more of a forward, but we shall see.
North Central coaches in the building here watching this game. I think I see some North Central players sitting up at the upper reaches of the stands as well. There's a big three. That's the biggest lead of the night by Linfield now at 5.
Riley Brule checking in from downtown there. One of the myriad good three-point shooters on this Linfield roster. 45-40, Ohio Northern in a dangerous spot right here. They need to keep their act together. Bruns on the bench, Allemeyer on the bench. The Polar Bears need to find someone they can go to.
Right, at this spot in the first half when they had their key guys out, if nothing else, they didn't put a whole lot of points on the board, but they were able to keep Linfield from scoring. Right now, that has not worked out for them. Aiden Physicurley will come into the game for the first time for Linfield. That's all right. That's Marcus Lord, and I can't read. These very super clear numbers, and I completely whiffed on that.
And just for you, we've got a traveling violation on the far side, Pat.
I appreciate that. I'm not sure if I could see all the way to the far side, so that's good. Plus, I'm still trying to push my way in through the pull door. That was a Far Side cartoon reference. It was not necessary.
That was, yes.
All of those things.
Okay, now I've got you. Took me a minute. All right, down low, Atencio missed it. Rebound, Caleb Bryan, as we're back to actual basketball. So 45-40. Polar Bears of Ohio Northern in need of a bucket here. Into the lane, Daniel Unruh. Layup no good. Rebounded. Donner had it stolen away. Here comes Linfield looking to add to the margin.
Yeah, Donner's just got to be stronger with the basketball. You got to hang on to it there, son. I almost said sir, then I decided to say son.
It worked. Marcus Lord. Goodness, we're having tough times with that name, which is not a difficult name.
It's not that difficult, yeah.
Unruh looking for the corner. Turned away by O'Reilly. And now scrapping on the floor, and we have a timeout called by Ohio Northern. So 45-40, it looks just so close to Linfield blowing the top off of this game.
Right, exactly. Like they're a couple possessions away from making some really big moves here if they could get a couple more shots to fall. I really like the way the Linfield offense has looked lately. They've done a good job moving the ball around, and Liam O'Reilly is a guy who, averages 8.4 points a game, but he shoots 63% from the floor, and that is that's a number that's really kind of borne home by how well he attacks the basket, how aggressively he attacks the basket. You take a lot of those short lane shots, and you're going to shoot a high percentage.
So, interesting thing defensively is Linfield had been putting Liam O'Reilly out front to guard the ball handler, but now he's shifted over more to a wing position with Bruns back in the game for Ohio Northern. Colton Bachman up top. This is Grant McConnell. Hit a couple threes in the first half. 5 to shoot. Into the corner, Daniel Unruh forces a jumper, draws iron, but rebounded by O'Reilly.
Yeah, just not a great offensive possession all the way around, and obviously Bruns only participated in less than half of it. But he's the kind of guy who can make your defenders move around, right? He can make your offense kind of really change its personality.
Burkhart, lefty three, no good. Rebounded, Unruh.
Big rebound out on the perimeter especially.
Retains possession for the Polar Bears.
Remember, the Polar Bears are coming in off a 5-game losing streak. They're 3-7, but and Linfield is a team who I think people think very highly of. But this is a very competitive game with all those things, and that's an offensive foul.
That was a big play right there. I was looking at the official up top, who had his hand up and not showing an offensive foul, but underneath it was called a charge, and that's the 4th on Bruns, and with 9:31 to go. That's huge.
Right. Now all the things that we just talked about, Ohio Northern, and talking about their, how they're going to try to get their offense back on track and how they're going to, just find someone who can score. All of that goes out the window. Bruns is on the bench for quite some time right now.
Bruns and Allemeyer both on the bench.
True.
Those are the 2 leading scorers for the Polar Bears on average throughout the season.
Bruns especially has been really good here tonight.
Burkhart over on the near side, fumbled around, Gibb. Brule, 3-pointer good.
Yeah, and this is where, if you're Linfield, you got to put your foot on the gas, right? You've got your opportunity, and here they bring the pressure into the backcourt. That's helpful as well. This is where you get to start playing your game, and there's a steal.
Gibb brings it in. Burkhart for 3. Back iron, no good. We got a whistle, and it's going to be on Donner.
I mean, it is really close to this game kind of exactly being turned around, blown up, blown out. These are the things that can happen, and of course also to add I don't know if it's insult to injury or whatever, but Ohio Northern's 7th foul means that Linfield will be in bonus here for the rest of the way as well.
Yeah, bonus situation, and Rogan Buck puts it in, expanding to a 9-point lead. And he puts in the second 10-point lead. This is the biggest lead of the game for either team. 8:45, and Pat, I wouldn't think it would be a bad idea to get both Bruns and Allemeyer back in the game before it gets out of hand right now.
Yeah, I mean, you at least get one of those guys in, right? If you think that you're not going to put either of them in until 3 minutes, this game is going to be over at that point. But maybe you steal 3 minutes with one guy now and 3 minutes with the other guy later and try to work their way back in. So maybe that's what you play.
Caleb Bryan got to the rack, missed it, and right back down the other way. There's Grant Gibb knocking it down.
And you see now, you hear the Linfield fans. You don't get to see them. We get to see them. Linfield fans reacting. That is a huge shot, and now is a 13-point lead and a full timeout for Linfield. And we will take a break as well. 8:17 to go here in the second half. Ohio Northern now trails by 13 to Linfield at the T3Hoops.com Classic.
It starts right when you hit the court. You imagine your finest moment. The game-winning shot that gets you to the dance, a monster dunk or no-look pass, and cutting down the net. Sports lets us dream of our own success and prepare us for our finest moments on and off the court.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Welcome back, everybody. So Linfield stretching out that lead right now, 53-40. And as a response, Ohio Northern going to bring Austin Allemeyer back into the ball game, one of their main ball handlers and one of their leaders out of the backcourt.
You know, you got a rest of a team that really needs someone to kind of focus the offense around, and you can't have Bruns on the floor. You got to have one of those guys.
Corner, Colton Bachman passes up the shot out top. Allemeyer looking around. Not a lot of movement out of the Polar Bears right now. Now it goes Caleb Bryan. Turnaround jump shot. Floats in the air. Missed it. Rebound. Allemeyer tipped it. And who's this foul going to be on?
Well, someone for Linfield.
Okay, we're going to stay right here. And it's going to be on Liam O'Reilly. Third on O'Reilly.
We have seen a lot of situations here in the second half where Ohio Northern has had the shot clock run down on them and has never gotten a good look.
Colton Bachman from way downtown, back iron, no good. And this is not good news for the Polar Bears as Daniel Unruh, holding his ankle, says he's okay.
They need him to be okay, or at least okay for the next 7:39.
Freshman guard started all 10 games so far this season coming into tonight, also tonight, so 11 for 11. Linfield up 13, 7.5 to play here, second half. Dempsey Rogenbuck tries to go down low, kicked away by Bachman. Inbounding the ball is Gibb to Brule. Brule hit a key three just a moment ago. Rogenbuck dribbles in. O'Reilly, little pump fake, got around Donner, and Donner grabbed.
The only thing I don't like about O'Reilly's game is how he continues to look for a call and look for a call and look for a call. I get it. You want a call. And in that instance, it was justified, clearly, because you got one. But, just play the game. Let them officiate.
Yeah,
you're a senior, for goodness sake.
Plenty good of a ball player.
Right. So play the ball.
Austin Allemeyer into front court. He's been held scoreless tonight. Averages 12 a game. Definitely being focused upon by the Linfield defense. And we're going to get Will Burkhart on a little grab out there. Little push off by Unruh as the ball comes in. No call. Something to keep an eye on. Down low it goes. Donner Donner working the baseline, brings it up, no good, rebounded by Gibb for the Wildcats. Into front court, Will Burkhart gives it up to Gibb, long range J, it's good for 3.
This is a 25-7 run right now for Linfield. It's put them here up by 16 now.
And Ohio Northern not exactly tearing it up this half, only 7 points here in the second half, and there's 6 minutes to go.
Wow. That's the most telling stat of everything. That's just basically what the second half is. 22-7. It's more than that because of the second half. 25. Yeah, that's the second half total. I get it now. Dave handed me a stat, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Not realize that was the sum total of our second half of action. 3 for 20 from the floor for Ohio Northern. They've turned the ball over 9 times here in the second half. I think we have Tim Glahn, the Ohio Northern Sports Information Director, to thank for those updates there. It's the first free throw for Rogenbuck is good.
Rogenbuck hasn't really got it going like he can, but Linfield has had other contributors tonight.
Bruns is back into the game. Here at a 17-point ball game now. Yeah, he knew he had missed that. He was trying to follow his shot. However, that is not how the rule works. You have to wait as the shooter until it hits the rim. Everybody else can go once you release the ball.
So Ohio Northern with their 2 big guns back into the ball game, but at this point, 17-point disadvantage with 5 minutes, 50 seconds left. Into the game, or into the lane goes Allemeyer, and he could not get the shot to drop. Looks like he was fouled on the way in.
You talked before, though, about Allemeyer having been held scoreless so far, and that's with 15 minutes of action in the first half, too. It's not like he picked up 2 quick fouls and sat, and after 5 minutes or so, he played and played a lot.
And he has not had any room. They've defensively keyed on him, and now here's a 3 in the air. The first time he's had an opportunity, and no good. Rebounded offensively.
You can find yourself some room at 25 or 26 feet. It's just a lot harder to make that shot.
Colton Bachman with a nice little pump fake, step over, and he knocked down a 3 from the near angle to get Ohio Northern within 14 now with 5:37 to go.
I mean, Ohio Northern's not out of this game, right? But they're not a great three-point shooting team. They only shoot 31% from downtown. And we've talked about them being a fairly young team and losing a couple of key contributors or key expected contributors before the season even started. So, this is a program that right now is centered around a couple of big scoring upperclassmen, but a lot of other guys who do not have yeah, I did the same thing. You're good. We can keep talking though. I kicked the power on this headphone thing. You keep talking. Why don't you talk for a while?
Okay, we're back.
Well, we had never left. It's just you couldn't hear ourselves.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. 5:37 to go. Second half action here at the D3Hoops.com Classic. Thanks for tuning in and staying with us tonight. Linfield 57, Ohio Northern 43. Linfield up against a little bit of pressure from Ohio Northern here. Riley Brule gives it over to Liam O'Reilly, working in against Bruns. Had it tipped away. Allemeyer hustling on the floor to get it, couldn't quite come up with it. Into the lane, Dempsey. Rogenbuck was fouled. Colton Bachman got him pretty good.
And this is an instance where you're going to see Linfield now with a 5-possession lead, basically, try to run that clock down. And it's sometimes, teams that like to push the ball up and down the floor sometimes struggle with that, right? It's antithetical to everything you want to do to run the shot clock down to 7 like they did just there. So there's another place where if you're an Ohio Northern fan, you might see some opportunity for your team to get back in it.
Yeah, clamping down defensively, and strangely enough, that's how Linfield got themselves back into the game today when they switched to that zone and really gave Ohio Northern nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Staten, who's
head up, Dave,
who's not been in the game too much the second half. He's back in now, and had the pass tipped out of bounds.
Right past Dave McHugh. Dave is very much not awake. Missed me by that much. Dave, started to. Dave had about an hour and a half of sleep last night on some airplane, and it was this morning when he had that sleep.
Bruns dished it over to Caleb Bryan, who missed a 3 in and out.
I am super glad that you're here calling this game with me, actually. I know when we talked about it, it was not with the thought that Dave would be dead on his feet.
Well,
it works out even
glad
better.
to be here, having a good time reliving the old days.
That's right.
Liam O'Malley to the rack with another two-hand flush.
Jeez. Man, that guy is O'Reilly's just amazing.
O'Reilly, yes. I O'Malley'd it. I was due.
It's all right. It is okay. That's his third one of those today, though.
60-43, and Linfield has moved this out to a comfortable margin at this point in time. What was a very competitive game until about the 11-minute mark. And then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off a little bit for the Polar Bears.
And Bruns leaves that foul shot short.
Back into the game, Austin Hilton replacing O'Reilly, who has done a nice job.
Second one is good.
4:26 remaining, 16-point edge for Linfield. Working against a little bit of pressure here applied by the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern. And we've got a grab. Colton Bachman asking for the held ball, but instead he's going to be whistled for the foul. And that's the 10th team foul, so Will Burkhart is going to go to the stripe for 2.
There's no consolation prize for holding a team like 30 points below their scoring average. There's not a ton that, if you're Ohio Northern, that you take away super positive, especially from the last 10 minutes or so here. It's a team that's going to see its losing streak most likely extended to 6 games here.
Burghart's an 86%er from the line, and he just hit 2. So this game, which was amazingly competitive and entertaining in the first half, the worm has turned.
We had those 11 ties or 11 lead changes and those 5 ties. We're going to end up with about 12
lead changes total.
And 6
'Cause
ties.
I think we had the one lead change and never looked back.
That's right. That's right. It has been, it's been a matter of kind of Linfield finally imposing its will, but it took until Bruns was off the floor with his 4th foul, and we just kind of look back to that foul. I'm not sure that either of us was expecting that to have been called at the time that it was.
Yeah, that one, Bruns turned the corner off a nice screen, and there was Liam O'Reilly waiting for him in set position, and maybe on that a better play might be just to go ahead and pop around that screen and take the jump shot. But Bruns turned the corner with the full head of steam, and not a good thing happened.
Indeed, it was excessively not good for Ohio Northern. It has been it's been pretty cold from the floor since then.
Yes, indeed.
And quite hot on the Wildcat side.
Ty Staten over to Caleb Bryan, now 3 in the air, and that's going to be good for Colton Bachman, who's supplied 2 of those off the bench here in the second half.
I mean, those are about the only shots that are available to them, though. And they're not particularly high percentage shots.
No, but Bachman has a pretty good stroke from downtown, at least it looks like it tonight. He's a 37%er on the season. Shooting for 3 on that play was Riley Brule, and we've got a foul underneath. And that's going to be another one picked up by Bachman.
Yep, everyone's shooting the rest of the way here.
Austin Hilton going to the line. It's about a 67%er so far on the year. 6'6" junior.
Missed the first off to the left.
5 points, 4 rebounds a game. Hit the second. 63-47, 16-point advantage for Linfield. Polar Bears bringing it in. Underneath, fouled is Caleb Bryan. He's going to head to the line for 2.
You know, as we were not putting together the field, because the field is kind of self-selected, but putting together the matchups once the teams have been committed to come to the tournament, it was like one of these teams, Linfield was one of these teams that you look at them and go, they could be really good this year, right? It's like a program that's on the rise and maybe on the verge of turning the corner, so that shot is around and off. Obviously, the best team here is Whitworth. You don't play Linfield against Whitworth because that's going to happen twice in conference play. Nice 3-ball right there. And we thought Ohio Northern was going to be fairly good, and I think we always think that Ramapo is going to be pretty good, and Ramapo is always here. But I would really have liked to see maybe now, in retrospect, if we could have reseeded here at this late moment. There's a timeout after Bruns' basket. You're reseeded. I would like to see now something like North Central against Linfield would be a really interesting game, because they're both teams that right now are shooting the ball well from 3. They're going to be in the playoff hunt in really strong conferences, and if we'd known now what we knew then, that's what I would like to see that game.
Yeah, this one here, it's interesting fundamentally in the contrast in styles, but as we've talked about, Ohio Northern just a little bit shorthanded. They don't quite have everybody they were assuming they would have for the season. And, that always hurts. At the D3 level, you usually don't have that extra depth to go ahead and replace potential starters or even potential impact starters, as it were. So that situation's always tough, regardless of the program.
Yeah, exactly. And this game is interesting, but it was interestinger about 10 minutes ago.
Yes.
And it was fun to watch Linfield, hit those threes and kind of see a little bit of what Wildcat basketball is actually like this year. And they played a little bit of that. They haven't played a whole ton of that, because now they're also trying to just play ball control and run the clock out.
2 minutes, 50 seconds to go. It's a 16-point advantage for Linfield. Working against pressure here. Berghart breaks down pressure, gives it over. Dempsey Rogenbuck missed a 3, hit one just a moment ago. Austin Hilton tipped it to himself. And a long 3 is good by Riley Brule.
Brule is a guy who hasn't been, he's still kind of getting, I don't know if he's still getting back into playing shape or whatever, but he's, played just 4 games, but has been in the starting lineup for those. I'm looking at the wrong guy once again. You're telling me. I know. I'm good. This is my 5th game, man.
That's all right. It's okay.
You and Riley should finish this out. Ryland, I know. My bad. Jeez. Can't even get from.
Go to bed, Pat.
I wish. I've got like an hour of work after this is done.
Oh.
Well, someone's got to put all those game stories on the website.
So Riley Brule hitting threes at a 46% clip, and you can certainly see why. Dempsey Rogenbuck, almost 50% coming into this game. Kind of a downer game for him a little bit, but fortunately for the Wildcats, they didn't need him at top production, as they still have the 19-point edge right now.
Yeah, exactly. When you've got this many guys averaging 8 points or more, there's plenty of opportunity for other guys to step up, right? You just mentioned Brule. We talked about what a little bit of a spark that Atencio gave, and of course O'Reilly's been really good, especially here in the second half. When you're scoring 95 a game, you're going to get lots of guys who score lots of points, and that means that you can go to those guys.
Yeah, it seems like Linfield certainly has definitely more depth in terms of players who can get out and contribute on the offensive end compared to Ohio Northern right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. And, that's a conference in which teams play like back-to-back nights on the road sometimes. So it comes even more in handy when you get into the depth of conference play and you've played at Whitman in Walla Walla on one night, and then you go to Spokane the next night to play Whitworth. That stuff kind of wears on you, not just the travel, but those back-to-back nights. But that's what you have to do in the NCAA tournament too. So I think it's good prep for that.
They're young guys. They got energy.
That's my understanding. I don't know if I remember that.
But still, if you're playing 30 minutes a game of up and down basketball the way Linfield does, then you're certainly going to be taxed.
Yeah, that's true. And there are there are teams in the league that will play that with them too. For a long time, Lewis and Clark or Puget Sound would be playing up and down. Now it's Pacific in that conference. It's playing that kind of pace too. So, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of teams to go up and down the floor and put up some numbers.
Another 3 by Colton Bachman. He's put in 3 of those this half. And without him, I certainly wouldn't want to see the offensive numbers for Ohio Northern this second half.
I was remiss in not even mentioning Whitman in that conversation. Of course, they're a team that was deep in the playoffs last year, in the Final Four the year before, and they bring waves of guys at you too and score lots of points.
Down low it comes. Hilton blocked by Bruns.
And it's going to go off of Hilton out of bounds.
So Linfield this second half has completely neutralized Bruns, which I didn't really see coming after that beginning of the game. And part of it was foul trouble, and of course here he goes inside, he puts it in.
Yeah, well, it's the exception that proves the rule, right?
Yes.
That phrase that makes no sense. Ohio Northern, 7 of 28 here in the second half, 25% from the floor. They are 4 for 13 from downtown. On the other side, Linfield, 10 of 20. You guys can probably do the math on that. And a 7 of 11 from three-point range. That's hard to stop.
Yeah, that's more of what we thought we were going to be getting into early on. And it has turned, and perhaps the shooting backdrop, or perhaps they just started lighting it up.
Well, that's a good point. We hinted at that earlier, and that's a good point. That's something that happens. Obviously, both teams get to shoot one half on each backdrop, so it evens out. But certainly for Linfield, whether it's coincidental or schematic, or just having a better set of backdrop to shoot against, a lot of things have gone right for them here in the second half.
Dempsey Rogenbuck puts it in, a little one-hander on the baseline, and then Ty Staten brings it back the other way and puts it in for Ohio Northern, and we're under 30 seconds to go here.
Appreciate them not fouling.
No reason to with 16-point edge here, and there we go, yes.
Yeah, that's fine, but you're not going to foul immediately in the backcourt, right, when you're down by 16. Oh, plenty of teams do. And I don't really see the value in that, but in this case, that's fine. I'm not opposed to a foul like that 10 to 12 seconds into the possession, I suppose.
Interesting. The teams both have a pretty decent amount of starters in a game that's pretty well decided.
It's a good point. If in the case of Bruns, of course, he's been on the bench a lot, so it's not like he's winded, and same for Allmeyer.
3 ball in the air. No good. Oh, coming near us.
Those guys who you would give playing time now to got it between 12 minutes and 6 minutes, right?
Correct. And that's going to bring us to the end of the game here. 75-57, Linfield, an 18-point winner here at the South Point Hotel and Casino, D3Hoops.com Classic.
Yep, and that is the end of day one. I feel like we have survived. Of course, we just have 6 games each of the next 2 days, but we'll have Ira Thor coming in to join us tomorrow, so we'll have a full, or as full staffed as we're going to get, I guess. But yeah, it is a final of 75-57. We'll hang out just a moment here for final stats, or if, Brian, you want to pass me my mouse, I'll also shake your hand, but if you pass me my mouse, I can scroll down and we can get the final stat party started. Is there such thing as a final stat party?
There can be. You are in Las Vegas.
Then we can
so
call
if there's going to be one, it's going to be here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're all into the final stats and the scores especially. The Rogenbuck in the end ends up right at his average, right? 20 points. It's hard to say. Hard to think of a quiet 20 points, but it was a little bit.
It was, because most of it happened after that big margin had already been established.
He finishes the night with a team-high 20 points. He's followed by Grant Gibb, who's 4 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 6 from downtown, along with 8 rebounds for his 12 points. Riley Brule with 11, Liam O'Reilly with 11, Max Lohman with 6, Tanner Atencio with those 4 points from the first half, Berghart with 4, Body with 4, Hart with 2, Hilton with 2, for the total of 75. Linfield 22 of 49 from the floor, 45%, 11 of 22 from beyond the arc, and 20 of 30 from the free throw line. They turned over the ball just 10 times compared to 16 for Ohio Northern, and they out-rebounded Ohio Northern 36-29. Points off of turnovers were huge too. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Brian. It was
literally
23,
pointing that out.
Yeah, that is true. 23 points off of the 16 turnovers, and it was just 6 points off of Linfield's 10 turnovers for ONU. As ONU shot 21 of 62 from the floor for just a hair under 33%, or hair over 33%. 7 of 22 from beyond the arc, 32%, 8 of 13 from the line. It was Ryan Bruns with 22 points, pretty much right at his average as well, despite missing a significant portion of the second half because of foul trouble. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocked shots to lead the team, and he was 9 of 15 from the floor. But then you have to go down to Colton Bachman with 9 points off the bench, Donner with 7, Grant McConnell with 6, and yeah, the big goose egg for Austin Allmeyer.
Yeah, Allmeyer, 0. He's averaging a pretty good amount. He's averaging 12 a game, but never got untracked offensively. And also Daniel Donner, 7 in the first half, nothing in the second.
Yeah, a big struggle in the second half, obviously offensively for Ohio Northern. The rest of the scorers: Brian off the bench with 5, Unruh with 5, Staten with 3. Staten is a guy who that's right at his average, but there are a lot of missed opportunities there for Ohio Northern, and it was at one point we had 2 lead changes in the second half, I guess it turned out, or 3 lead changes. Had to be an odd number.
Right at the beginning, apparently.
Yeah, had to be an odd number, and then a couple ties. But this game got out of hand, and just at the time where Bruns went out with his 4th foul, and then Linfield also found its 3-point stroke right around the same time, and that's basically all she wrote.
Yeah, it just seemed like Linfield had opportunities to widen out that margin that they weren't taking advantage of, and then all of a sudden they did. And then that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing left to be said after that. Coming back tomorrow morning with Buena Vista against Gettysburg. That's a women's game. We'll start our day 2 at the D3Hoops.com Classic, our apparently Friday, December 28th. And, I lose track of the days of the week at that point. But that is what we'll have. Thanks to our producer, Dave McHugh. Thanks, Brian, for joining us. Brian Gregors. Thanks, Ryland or Riley or Ryan or Ronnie or whatever I want to call you. My apologies. Yeah, I know, Ryland. My bad. And I'll just go on by noting that this copyrighted broadcast of the D3Hoops.com Classic is a property of D3Hoops.com and intended solely for the private, personal use of our audience. Any other broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of D3Sports.com and Sport Tours International is strictly prohibited. Linfield improves to 8-2, and Ohio Northern falls to 3-8 as Linfield defeats Ohio Northern by the score of 75-57. Good night, everybody.
Good night.